There are moments when something doesn't feel like an idea. It feels like a message, arriving early. This episode didn't come from me. It comes from the version of you that has already made it through. The part of you that has faced doubt, fear, and uncertainty, and you still kept going. Messages from the universe has always been about listening, about noticing the quiet signals that appear when you're not looking. But this next volume, it's different. It's a bridge, a connection between what already exists in the universe and what you are becoming. In this episode, you'll begin to hear that voice, your future self, speaking through the universe by way of signal codes. Not to lecture you, not to convince you, but to remind you that you are capable of more than you realize, that the challenges you've faced did not define you, and that the path forward is still yours to claim. So lean in, listen closely, receive this not as advice, not as inspiration, but as a signal from the part of you that already exists beyond today. Are you ready? I am. I'm Jonah. I'm your person. Let's get to it. Signal Code 1. You were never meant to shrink. You weren't born to play small. You weren't born to apologize for existing or to dim your light to make others comfortable. And yet, here you are, conditioned to shrink. Conditioned to believe that your potential needs editing, that your ambition trimmed, or your voice softened. That conditioning isn't your fault. It's how the world trains most of us to fit into boxes we were never designed to occupy. Every time you held back, every time you said, I can't, or maybe later, it wasn't failure. It was compliance with the system that wanted you small. And the moment you recognize that, the moment you see how much you've been trained to minimize yourself, is the moment the power comes back. The moment you stop apologizing for your potential, that power returns. You've been living in someone else's definition of what's safe, or what's acceptable, or what's possible. But your future self isn't here to judge you for that. They're here to remind you that that box you were placed in was never meant to hold you. You are bigger than the limits that have been set around you. Bigger than the expectations that never aligned with your truth. Bigger than the fear that kept you quiet. Expanding isn't about ego. It's about reclaiming the energy, the courage, the authority that is already yours. Every step that you take toward who you were meant to be shakes loose the conditioning, and every act of showing up as your full self signals to the universe and to yourself that you are alive, that you matter, that your contribution is essential. Your environment may have tried to stop you, and your environment may have tried to keep you small. Others may have told you to stay in that line, but the truth is simple. And part of you, the part that refuses to shrink, is stronger than the part of you that complies. That part is listening now. And that part knows that growth isn't optional. It's inevitable when you stop shrinking and start standing in the fullness of who you are. You were never meant to shrink. You were always meant to expand, to shine, to rise. And today, that journey begins again. Signal Code 2. Your pain was training, not punishment. You've endured moments that felt impossible, moments that seemed designed to break you, to leave you wondering if it was all too much. And in those moments, the voice of your future self is here, saying this: none of it was punishment. Every hardship, every sharp edge of pain, every setback that left you questioning your worth, it was training. Your future self knows what tried to break you was never meant to destroy. It was meant to awaken you, to sharpen your awareness, to refine your resilience, and to teach you to move with clarity in the face of challenge. That suffering becomes fuel only when you reclaim the meaning that lies within it. Your future self has already done this. They have already stood where you are now and discovered that pain is a teacher, not a sentence. What once felt unbearable now reveals its purpose. Every scar, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, these are the markers of mind and spirit being prepared for something greater. Your past struggles are not proof that you are fragile. They are evidence that you are being readied to step into your full potential, to act with courage, and to shape the life and impact that you were always meant to hold. And here is what your future self wants you to hear. The moments you wish had never happened, the challenges you wanted to escape, they are the instruments. They are your instruments. When you lean into them, when you carry the lessons forward rather than carrying the hurt, you transform every past obstacle into a source of power. Pain is not punishment. Pain is preparation. And your future self is already watching you rise, already acknowledging your growth, already confirming that the struggles you are facing are simply the shaping hands of what you will become. Listen carefully. Receive it not as consolation, not as hope and waiting, but as a transmission. The work is already underway. The path is already formed. And the version of you that has mastered this moment is speaking now. This was never meant to break you. It was meant to make you stronger. Signal code 3. No one is coming, and that's your freedom. You might be waiting for a rescue, a sign, someone to step in and make the path clear. You might hope that someone will hand you the answers, or carry the weight, or validate the choices you've been too afraid to make. That hope has a name, a rescue mentality. And it keeps you small. It keeps you passive. It keeps you waiting when your power is already in your hands. The truth is simple, though. No one is coming. And once you accept that, you experience freedom. Freedom from dependence. Freedom from expectation. Freedom from the endless cycle of asking, hoping, and wondering when someone will fix what you are capable of fixing yourself. This is not a call to isolation. It is a call to agency. Every decision you make, every step you take without waiting for approval or permission, is a claim on your own dignity. Every act of courage in the absence of guidance reinforces the truth. You are enough, and your presence matters. The world does not need perfection. It needs action, integrity, and consistency. When you step fully into this, something shifts. Waiting fades. Hesitation dissolves. The space where fear once lived becomes a room for possibility. Your influence begins here, not with others noticing you first, but with the clarity of knowing that you are capable, that you are responsible, and that you can move. The agency you claim is the foundation of respect for yourself, for the people you rely upon, for the people that rely on you, and for the life you are building. And here is the signal. The freedom you've been seeking has never been in someone else's hands. It has always been within you. The choice, the action, the moment of courage, it is yours to take. And every time you do, you confirm to yourself and the world that your voice, your presence, and your energy are not optional. No one is coming, and that is your liberation. Step into it. Move with it. Own it. The path forward is yours. Signal Code 4. Discipline is self-respect in motion. There is a quiet truth most people never learn. Motivation is unreliable, but identity is not. Motivation shows up when it wants to. Identity shows up because it's who you are. And discipline is how identity moves through the world. Discipline isn't punishment. It isn't restriction. It isn't forcing yourself to suffer. Discipline is the physical expression of self-respect. It's what happens when you decide that your word to yourself matters, even when no one is watching, even when the outcome isn't immediate, even when the feeling isn't there. You don't rise because you feel inspired. You rise because you decided who you are, and you act in alignment with that decision. Small promises kept quietly rebuild trust within you, and that trust compounds. It strengthens your posture, it sharpens your clarity, and it stabilizes your confidence without you having to announce it. Most people wait to feel ready, but readiness isn't a feeling, it's a rhythm. A rhythm built through repetition, through doing the thing you said you would do again and again until it becomes natural, until it becomes non-negotiable, until it becomes part of you, and until it becomes part of your DNA. Discipline doesn't demand perfection. It asks for consistency. It asks you to show up when it would be easier to drift. It asks you to choose alignment over comfort. And over time, those choices reshape your self-image. You stop negotiating with doubt. You stop explaining yourself. You stop relying on momentum that disappears as quickly as it arrives. This is how inner trust is built. This is how stability forms. Not through dramatic breakthroughs, but through steady, intentional movement. Through honoring your own standards, quietly, consistently, and without applause. Discipline is not about control. It is about care. Care for the life you are building, care for the person you are becoming, and care for the impact you know you're capable of making. And once discipline becomes self-respect in motion, everything else begins to follow. Signal Code 5. You are allowed to outgrow who you were. There comes a moment when staying the same begins to cost more than changing. Not loudly, not all at once, quietly, subtly. The discomfort grows, not because you are failing, but because you are no longer meant to fit where you once belonged. Outgrowing yourself is not betrayal. It is not disloyalty. It is not abandonment of your past. It is evidence that you listened when something inside you said, "This is no longer enough." Loyalty to an old version of yourself may feel honorable, but growth requires honesty, and honesty often feels and brings friction. People may struggle to recognize you when you change. They may reference who you used to be, what you used to want, and how you used to show up. That confusion is not your responsibility to resolve. Your responsibility is to remain aligned with who you are becoming, even when the evolution makes others uncomfortable. Growth asks you to release familiar roles, to loosen identities, the ones that once kept you safe, but now keep you contained. To accept that becoming more of yourself may require walking away from environments, habits, or expectations that can no longer hold you. This process can feel lonely, not because you are doing something wrong, but because transition always lives in between who you were and who you are becoming, between what is known and what is emerging. That space is not emptiness, it's transformation. You are not required to explain your evolution. You are not obligated to shrink so others can remain comfortable. Expansion does not need permission. It needs commitment. Outgrowing yourself is not the loss of identity. It is the refinement of it. A shedding of what no longer resonates. A return to what feels true. And when you allow that process to unfold, you don't just change your life. You free yourself to live it honestly. You are allowed to outgrow who you were. And when you do, you make room for what comes next. Signal code 6. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Fear has been misunderstood, treated as a warning when it actually is an indicator. Most people assume fear means danger, that something is wrong, or that they should turn back. But fear does not show up to stop you. It shows up to point. Fear appears when something matters, when you are close to growth, when the edge of your current identity is being tested. If fear were to be a stop sign, it would appear everywhere. Instead, it shows up selectively, at moments of significance. You don't feel fear when you are stagnant. You feel it when you are stepping beyond what you already know how to be. That sensation in your body isn't failure approaching. It's expansion asking for consent. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is movement with fear present. It is choosing to act whilst your hands are unsteady, whilst your voice wavers, and whilst certainty is incomplete. Every meaningful shift in your life required this, even if you didn't recognize it at the time. When you pause long enough to observe fear instead of obeying it, its message becomes clear. It isn't saying, don't go. It's saying, this matters. And things that matter shape you. Fear only becomes limiting when you confuse it for instruction, when you treat it as an authority instead of information. The moment you reinterpret fear, its grip loosens, its volume drops, and your clarity returns. You were never meant to eliminate fear. You were meant to move with it, to let it sharpen your awareness, not dictate your direction. This is how momentum is built, not through confidence first, but through action that teaches confidence where it comes from. Fear is not the enemy. Hesitation is optional. And what waits on the other side of fear is rarely danger. It is alignment. Signal code 7. Influence begins with inner alignment. Notice this. Influence doesn't start with what you say. It starts with how you show up, with the alignment between what you feel inside and what you do outside. The version of you who has already moved through this, they're telling you now. People notice coherence before they hear words. They feel it in the calm of your presence, the steadiness of your choices, the honesty that cannot be faked. Alignment isn't taught. It isn't a strategy. It's something you cultivate quietly. It shows up in the small things, keeping your word to yourself, showing up when it's hard, acting without seeking approval. The ripple is invisible at first, and then it isn't. People start to trust you. They start to follow, not because you demanded it, but because it's impossible not to. Notice too, clarity comes when the internal noise fades, when your energy isn't scattered by pretending or people-pleasing, when your actions reflect what matters truly. Influence flows naturally here, not forced, not loud. It just is. The subtle signal you might have missed. Your alignment doesn't just affect you. It touches the people around you. Small decisions, quiet consistency, moments that feel ordinary. They're shaping more than your life. They're shaping the space you inhabit. See it. Feel it. The person you are becoming already knows this, and they're waiting for you to step fully into it. Signal Code 8. Hope is a practice, not a personality trait. Listen closely. Hope isn't something you either have or don't. It isn't a trait you were born with. It isn't a feeling that magically appears when the timing is perfect. The version of you who has already made it through, they're telling you, hope is something you practice. It is built, moment by moment, action by action, through repetition, through showing up, even when the outcome isn't clear. Notice how often you wait for a reason to hope, a sign, a miracle, permission. The truth is, hope waits for nothing. You create it by moving forward anyway, by making choices that reflect the life you want, by trusting that your next step matters, even if you can't see the full path yet. It's not a sprint. It's a rhythm. It's the small promise you keep to yourself when no one is watching. It's the decision to act with integrity, to speak your truth, to keep faith in your own capacity, even when fear whispers, you're alone. The signal here is subtle but powerful. The future isn't waiting for you to believe. It's already listening. It's already responding to the hope you choose to practice. Every time you lean into it, you're retraining your mind. You're reclaiming your energy. And you're confirming to yourself that despair does not dictate your path. Hope becomes unstoppable when it's intentional, and when it isn't tied to luck or circumstance, and when it grows out of the consistent practice of presence, action, and trust in what is yet unseen. And here's the quiet crescendo. The small actions you take today, the moments when you act despite uncertainty, when you show care despite fatigue, when you step even slightly into possibility, they echo into tomorrow. They are the proof that hope isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to move. That path isn't set. The future is not a promise, but the practice of hope ensures you will meet it with clarity, with courage, and strength. Signal Code 9. Your contribution matters more than your confidence. Here's the quiet truth. Impact doesn't wait for confidence. It waits for presence, for action, for showing up again and again. The version of you who has already moved through this, they would say, the world doesn't need you to feel ready. It needs you to participate, to engage, to let your efforts ripple, even when doubt lingers. Confidence is fleeting. Motivation is unpredictable. Contribution, however, is undeniable. It builds on itself quietly, almost invisibly. And one act compounds into another. One decision sparks clarity, and one moment of integrity becomes the foundation for the next. Notice the misbelief you've carried, that you've had to feel prepared before you act. It's a trap. Your future self isn't asking you to wait. They're already watching and already counting the impact of the small things you choose to do. And those small things matter. Influence grows from participation, not perfection. From showing up when you'd rather hide. From doing what's right, even when the reward is unseen. Your contribution isn't measured by applause or recognition. It's measured by the difference it makes in the quiet spaces, the people you help, the systems you improve, and the energy you lift. The version of you who already succeeded knows this, and they would want you to know it now. Every act matters. Every effort builds momentum. You don't need a spotlight. You need commitment. You don't need certainty. You need presence. And when you choose presence over hesitation, the world responds. Look closely. The future is already reflecting back what the outcomes of your small, consistent contributions will be. You're not behind, and you're not missing something. You are exactly where you need to be to start making the difference that matters most. Signal Code 10. This is bigger than you, and that's the point. Look closely. What you're building right now, it's not just for you. It's bigger. Far bigger than the small, anxious version of yourself that worries that it has to be perfect. If I could tell you and speak directly to that 1.0 self, the one who doubted, hesitated, and wondered if they could matter, I'd say, you are not alone. You are not late. You are exactly where you needed to be. The fear, the mistakes, the quiet moments of inaction, they were all part of the scaffolding. The version of you who has already made it through is watching. They are here to confirm you didn't quit. You didn't disappear. Every choice, every small act of courage, every time you leaned into discomfort instead of avoiding it, it all added up. This isn't about ego or personal glory. This is about scale. The ripples of your honesty, your presence, your contributions, and your alignment reach farther than you can perceive. They touch people you've never met. They influence systems you don't see. They reshape spaces you thought were unchangeable. And here's the quiet signal you might have missed. The future you is not looking back at what you did. They are guiding you toward what matters next. Not through instruction, but through example. Not by pressure, but by possibility. And not because you are extraordinary, but because you are here, committed and awake. What feels small today, the acts of courage, honesty, and presence, are the seeds of transformation. They accumulate. They scale. They become the reason someone else doesn't give up. The reason hope survives. The reason change happens. And so remember this. You are part of something greater. You are part of a current that moves quietly, patiently, and powerfully. And the choice to show up consistently is your invitation to join it fully. You are allowed to outgrow, to act, to rise. Not for applause, not for reward, but because the planet, the people, and your own becoming need it. This is bigger than you, and that's exactly why you matter. Now take a moment and let this land. The future you has been listening. They're here to remind you, you didn't quit. You didn't disappear. And you are not alone. Millions are waking up quietly, choosing presence, courage, alignment, one act at a time. Change doesn't happen in leaps. It happens in increments. One decision, one habit, one act of courage. Pick one signal code. Live it for the next 7 days. Just one. See what shifts. Notice how small actions ripple further than you imagined. The world isn't waiting for perfection. It's waiting for your participation. And here's what matters most. You show up. You act with integrity. And you carry the thread of hope, alignment, and contribution into the spaces you inhabit. I'll see you next week. We'll continue this transformation together. You make it, we make it.